What did he really do to the PGA? Take a tour in damage control emergency mode? How do his closest friends feel? Taken by surprise and deceived? And how did one golf's most reliable voice in decision-making becoming its most contentious figure overnight? Let's be completely honest about Rory McIlroy's identity throughout the last 3 years. He wasn't your average PGA Tour player earning money while playing competitions. He was the voice, the defender, the person who got up when fee golf was introduced, poaching began. The top stars of the tour. While some remained silent or used diplomatic, Rory went on the record without responding, making numerous calls to live players mercenary that prioritized blood money over honesty in competition. According to him, they ignored what made it possible for them to reach this point. He turned into the PGA's moral and emotional leader tour amid the most tumultuous time in the past. After Phil Mickelson departed for Rory publicly chastised him, Ella. When Dustin Johnson signed, Rory asked his allegiance. When Shambo Bryson and Brooks Koepka trailed behind, with Rory positioned himself as a substitute, the player who prioritized customs and heritage over contracts that are guaranteed. He went to see the player meetings, delivered speeches with empathy, and literally influenced PGA Tour regulations choices through his position on the board. Rory McIlroy wasn't only protecting the tour. He served as the tour's human shield, in opposition to Saudi billions. For this reason, the recent events seem to be a complete betrayal of everyone who had faith in him. Several accounts claim that include reputable insiders who have first-hand understanding of the circumstances. Rory McIlroy has had advanced discussions with LIV of Golf on a possible relocation, not informal conversations rather than exploratory discussions, sophisticated negotiations that comprise contract amounts, equity holdings, and conversations about timelines. The stated provide is simply astounding. Approximately $850 million. This would place it among the biggest professional sports contracts the past. However, this is what makes it so far worse than a single player pursuing financial gain. Rory hasn't made public recognized any of this. He has persisted doing interviews in which he discusses the significance of PGA Tour cohesion and honesty in competition. He has been to visit events while pretending that everything is usual while concurrently engaging in negotiations he called the league for years not legitimate. The deceit is what's startling people more than the real potential for him to depart. If you're startled by this betrayal, destroy that click the like and subscribe buttons because what Rory did next is even more astounding. The chronology makes this particularly damning. A few weeks prior, Rory provided an interview in which he discussed how it was crucial for elite players to remain devoted to the PGA Tour throughout the discussions with the people of Saudi Arabia Fund for Investments. In particular, he stated that players quitting now would reduce the tour's ability to negotiate and harm everyone who had remained faithful. He was positioned himself as the protector of solidarity. Additionally, the whole time he was making such remarks in public, he was seemingly conducting secret discussions with LV on his own possibilities departure. Officials from the PGA Tour are allegedly enraged and feeling totally taken by surprise. Several sources recount the emergency meetings that took place within the last 24 hours with Commissioner Jay Monahan, and the other tour guides are attempting to determine how to manage the scenario in which Rory truly departs. The panic isn't limited to celebrity loss. Participant. It concerns the loss of the athlete who became the tour's most well-known and trustworthy defender. Of all, if Rory McIlroy people determine that a live is the correct move, what does that indicate about the tour's viability and future? Behind the moments, gamers are responding with a blend of surprise, rage, and confirmation. Those who remained faithful to the PGA Tour in part due to Rory's fervent defense feel deceived and manipulated. A seasoned athlete speaking anonymously to a journalist covering golf stated that Rory persuaded others to decline enormous live offerings by appealing to their loyalty and honesty, and he's currently thinking about accepting the precise deal he instructed everyone else to decline. That isn't just hypocrisy. That is done on purpose, undermining the financial security of others' chances while defending his own. However, athletes who departed permanently are experiencing a very different response. Bryson DeChambeau, who faced years of criticism from Rory for participating LIV published a mysterious social media post that was obviously aimed at the circumstance. He was remarked, "It's funny how values shift when the cost rises sufficiently." The post went viral right after, receiving thousands of remarks that see it as Bryson completing a triumphant lap over Rory's obvious duplicity. Phil Mickelson, who Rory received harsher public criticism, more than nearly everyone for participating in live, conducted an interview in which he was asked regarding the reports. Phil's answer was measured but slicing. He stated that everyone must make their own choices, depending on their particular situation, and that perhaps some individuals are discovering that the world isn't as clear-cut as they believed it to be. The inference was really clear. Rory assessed everyone else for doing just what he is now taking into account. What causes this circumstance Rory's is considerably more intricate. Connection to Tiger Woods. Tiger has been steadfastly committed to the PGA Explore, the full elevated sitting on the policy board and experiencing conflict and making a concerted effort to fortify the position of the trip. Tiger and Rory have been united in public over this whole saga, portraying themselves as the tour's leadership collaboration. If Rory departs now, it doesn't only harm his personal legitimacy. It could cause harm, by connection, Tiger's as well. Reports recommend that Tiger get in touch with Rory immediately upon learning about the LIV conversations, attempting to comprehend what was taking place and whether Rory was genuinely thinking of leaving. References characterize the discussion as heated, and Tiger's emotional expression displeasure that Rory would even after all accept LIV's offer. They had both said in public. The break, if their relationship is genuine, is among the most important changes in the power dynamics of golf in years. The response from fans has been really cruel and polarized. A few admirers are standing up for Rory, claiming he has everything right to increase his income, and that people's opinions shift when situations shift. Contend that the generational wealth of $850 million, it is unreasonable to expect anyone to decline whatever they stated 3 years long ago. However, the majority's reaction has been rage and charges of hypocrisy. Social internet is overflowing with compilation of Rory's anti-LI6 statements combined with information about his present discussions. The contrast that makes him appear to be a liar or someone having no real principles. What's motivating Rory's seeming shift of perspective is everyone is asking the same question. A few analysts claim it's just financial. $850 million is just too much money to decline, regardless of previous roles. Others highlight the changing political environment, pointing out that the PGA Tour and the people of Saudi Arabia investment funds are currently the actual negotiations, which has blurred the moral boundaries that used to appear obvious. If the excursions are possibly merging nevertheless, Rory may be thinking, why not earn money throughout that process? Takes place? However, there is a more sinister idea circulated among insiders. Some people think Rory is truly burned out as a result of flying the flag of the PGA Tour for 3 years, coping with continuous media player criticism, pressure, and the burden of serving as everyone's moral compass. The psychological cost of that role, in addition to observing players he ridiculed and became wealthier while he defended a tour that hasn't consistently helped him publicly, may have ultimately shattered his resolve. The most detrimental feature of this whole circumstance is that Rory hasn't yet officially addressed any of it. No declaration, no justification, no recognition that discussions are taking place. There is an overwhelming quiet and makes things worse since it permits conjecture and rage to develop without any alternative story. If Rory emerged and gave an honest explanation of his thoughts, despite disagreements, at least there would be openness. The confidentiality makes he seems to be aware of what he's doing. Indisputable. What took place? What occurred at Riviera wasn't just contentious. It was explosive, career-threatening, and the manner in which Rory just managed it with players, officials, and sponsors requesting the same awful query. Is the top star in the sport ready to blow up everything we believed we were aware of the integrity of golf? What did Rory has really seen that? Threatening official action? Why are tours in emergency meetings? Officials are attempting to limit the harm. And how did one win in the tournament becomes the most the PGA Tour has encountered a risky situation in years? Let's be completely honest about what transpired at the genesis. The surface story is inviting, and the actual narrative are entirely distinct. Jacob Bridgman, a comparatively an unidentified player, arrived on Sunday with a 6-shot Riviera Country Club lead and managed to hold on to win his first single-stroke victory on the PGA Tour over Kurt Kayama and Rory McIlroy. On the paper, that is an incredible achievement. Narrative: a young athlete triumphs over pressure, endures a late charge from legendary, declares his first triumph on one of the most famous stages in golf. That ought to be the headline. That ought to be the story that everyone is applauding. However, rather, the world of golf is in complete chaos. Because based on several sources, such as reputable golf, Rory McIlroy told journalist Dan Rapart, those close to him, that he observed Bridgman's repeated infringement of the rules throughout the competition. Not a little violations, not unintentional errors, intentional transgressions of the rules that perhaps had an impact on the result. And Rory is not only whining in private. According to reports, he is getting ready to formally express his worries to the PGA Tour about official examination and inquiry. Let's that take a while to settle in. Rory McIlroy, one of the most esteemed voices in professional golfer, who is renowned for honesty and good sportsmanship, is basically charging a different player with cheating. No one has used that term formally yet, but that is the rule: intentional violations. Additionally, if Rory is prepared to appear on camera and initiate an official inquiry, it indicates he noticed something that he can't ignore, or "I apologize." The particular accusations are terrible and meticulous. Initially, Rory asserts that Bridgman purposefully enhanced his deception in the second round by pushing his club into the ground close to his ball with extreme power many times prior to his stroke. According to Rule 8.1 under golf regulations, you are unable to purposefully enhance conditions impacting your shot. That encompasses your lay, your position, or the region where you swing. If when intent is proven, each infraction carries a 2-stroke penalty. 2 Bridgman, 1 stroke at a time. Perform the math. The second accusation is considerably more devastating and surgical. According to Rory, in the third round, Bridgman felt his ball was just outside the designated relief region, perhaps obtaining a somewhat improved angle. Or tell a falsehood. We're speaking in millimeters here, but at this level, millimeters are crucial. Alright, that's the distinction between a clean swing and either lay or fly. That's the distinction between making a birdie and fumbling for par. Procedures for relief are quite particular in their professional golf. And even a little variation, if proven deliberate, there are consequences that may change the results of a tournament. If you find these claims shocking, hit the like and subscribe buttons, because this controversy is going to even more potent. Here's why the PGA is in a very risky situation. Go beyond a single tournament outcome. If the tour looks into it and discovers transgressions, they must evaluate fines in the past. Thus, Jacob Bridgman's first win on the PGA Tour could be taken away. The leaderboard would alter. The prize money would be redistributed. The FedEx Cup points would be modified. The breakthrough of a young player moment that thousands of people rejoice and televised worldwide would turn into a controversy that characterizes his whole career. However, if the tour looks into it and discovers nothing, if they fully clearman Rory McIlroy then appears to be a bitter loser, who was unable to endure being beaten and attempted to defeat a young player via claims he was unable to substantiate. That ruins Rory's standing as one of the most esteemed representatives of golf and establishes a poisonous precedent in which each a tight finish is contested with charges and inquiries. The PGA Tour is completely stuck. They are unable to disregard Rory's worries because he's also prominent, and the accusations are also particular, yet they also can't hurry to judgment in the absence of hard proof, as they would be ruining a player's career founded on allegations. Additionally, secondly, they put off making a choice. The controversy and conjecture increase exponentially. In private, take a tour. According to reports, officials are in an emergency meetings attempting to determine how to manage this without producing long-term harm. Several sources explain the atmosphere in the tour office as desperate and in a panic. They're examining the frame of transmitted material by frame, examining shot connection information, speaking with representatives of the rules, and attempting to ascertain whether there are any tangible proof to back up Rory's assertions. However, this is what makes this scenario becomes more intricate and perhaps explosive. Contemporary golf, because to technology, every moment is recorded in extremely high quality from several perspectives. If Rory's claims possess any legitimacy, the proof will exist at some point during thousands of hours of video. However, if the tour discovers that evidence and determines punishments, they're acknowledging their current regulations monitoring to totally fail. They're claiming that infractions were captured on camera under their supervision, and no one apprehended them. Till the competition was over. That's a crisis of credibility that may have significant ramifications for the sponsor assurance and television collaborations. Businesses pay millions to collaborate with the integrity of the PGA Tour brand and fair competition. If competitions can be gained by breaking the rules that in real time, authorities miss and only get discovered when a rival expresses concerns days later, what does that indicate about the tour's capacity for self-policing? Participants are already picking sides, and the locker room is breaking apart in real time. Rory is being defended by other veterans, arguing if he witnessed something he was required to, no matter how it seems, report it. Some are enraged with Rory, claiming that you don't ruin a young player's moment of breakthrough with untested accusations following a one-shot defeat. The gap is harsh, intimate, and perhaps irreversible. Thomas Justin allegedly informed teammates of Rory's the way this was handled was disappointing and created a risky precedent in which every close defeat might be contested with charges. Jordan SPE was more diplomatic, but recognized that it was a really unpleasant scenario. For all those concerned, the tour's most well-known athletes are being compelled to publicly take sides, and their reactions will specify alliances and partnerships. For many years, social media has completely